Let's bring in NBC News senior national political reporter Sahil Kapoor, who has new reporting on how some House Republicans are looking to hinder the prosecutions against former President Trump. Sahil, good to see you this morning. How exactly can they do it?
Hey, Willie. Well, it's a new complication in what is shaping up to be a very tense government funding battle when Congress returns next week. They have a month to agree on a government funding deal or face a shutdown. Now, let's start with the fact that a government shutdown itself would not hinder Donald Trump's prosecutions. The Justice Department has said that criminal proceedings qualify as essential functions, and these essential functions continue even in the event of a funding lapse. So what are Republicans trying to do instead? Trump allies in the House are trying to use government funding legislation to insert provisions that would defund or target the prosecutors that have indicted Trump. Let's have a look at what some of them are doing here. This Congressman Andrew Clyde, he is from Georgia. He is promising to introduce 2 amendments in appropriations legislation that would block all federal funds going to special counsel Jack Smith, Fulton County DA Fani Willis, as well as Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg. He makes no bones about the fact that this is about their prosecuting Donald Trump. He wants to eliminate their authority to prosecute major presidential candidates until the 2024 election is done. There's Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, 2 staunch allies of Trump who about a month ago started calling for defunding the special counsel Jack Smith. There's Jim Jordan, the chairman of the powerful Judiciary Committee, who says he wants to restrict politically sensitive DOJ investigations, at least impose limits into how those are conducted. He has also launched an inquiry into Fani Willis. There's Andy Biggs, who called yesterday to straight up defund Fani Willis's office, at least block federal money, which is what Congress has control over, going to her. His posts have been heavily promoted by Donald Trump on his social media page, who has, Trump has also all sorts of invective against the various prosecutors who have secured indictments of him. Let's have a look at what Congressman Andrew Clyde said. This is kind of, where the rubber meets the road here. He's on the Appropriations Committee. He says, quote, "Due to my serious concerns about these witch hunt indictments against President Trump, I intend to offer 2 amendments to prohibit any federal funds from being used in federal or state courts to prosecute major presidential candidates prior to the 2024 election." Unquote. Now, Republicans are divided on this, guys. There are some Republican appropriators who don't want to go down this road, who know they have to ultimately cut a deal with the Democratic-controlled Senate and get a law signed by President Biden. There are other Republicans who still support the police. They don't want to defund federal law enforcement. And the fact of McCarthy, even if he gets something like this through the House, the Speaker of the House will still have to cut a deal with the Democrats in the Senate and the White House to ultimately make this happen. Democrats, as you can imagine, are aggressively pushing back on this, calling it an attempt to try to defend Trump against legitimate legal proceedings. Let's show what Congressman Rosa DeLauro, the top Democrat on the Appropriations Committee, says, quote, "It is shameful that the majority's baseless attacks on federal law enforcement have made the leap from irresponsible rhetoric into appropriations language." She goes on to say this is simply about the fact that they don't like an independent DOJ investigating certain individuals. You can guess who those are. She says, quote, "This is naked politicization of our criminal justice system," unquote. Yet another wrench here into what is already shaping up to be a very intense battle to keep the government funded.
Sahil, when you talk to Republicans who either favor this legislation or are opposed to this legislation, do the evidence evince any concern about obstruction of justice to you?
I haven't heard that exact phrasing used. Republicans are talking more in the realm of political reality. Some of them say we don't want to, shut down the government. There's going to have to be a deal. Be realistic. And some of them say we support law enforcement. Now, I guess that speaks to your point. They support law enforcement, which means, they don't want to go down that road of being perceived as obstructing justice. But I have not heard any Republicans specifically use that phrasing.
NBC's Sahil Kapoor on Capitol Hill for us this morning. Sahil, thanks so much.